I'm Katie Ullman reporting for KD Chats here at SMITHEETV in downtown Toronto. I'm Katie Ullman reporting for KD Chats in downtown Toronto with writer-producer Briane Nasimok. How initially did you get into comedy?
Well, my sister at parties used to drag me on stage to do a very bad British joke. And I have a terrible British accent. But people thought it was cute. And then when I was 16, I had a crush on a waitress in a place called Crystal Beach, Ontario. So I hung out at the restaurant and went on stage in the evening and sang songs from Mad Magazine, like I'm Looking Over My Dead Dog Rover.
Did it work? Did you get a date with her?
No, her sister was very interested in me, but I was kind of naive in those days, why someone would be brushing up against me, but silly me. Then it was interesting. I had a career carrying spears with the opera company, and because extras were the lowest of the low, I created the Honorary Extra of the Year award, and at the final night party, I gave that away and did a little shtickla. When I came back from the tour, I used to do some lighting as well, so I helped on a show called Three Cheers for Showbiz at the Beth M Synagogue. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that one. And at the party afterwards, there was a very delightful dancer in the show who I nicknamed Boom Boom Varoom, and I sat at the couch and I just did sit-down comedy. Well, she went away to dance in Atlanta, and somebody who'd seen me at the couch put me on something called Gene Taylor's Improv. And Mark Breslin saw me there, I believe, and he stopped me on the street one day and said, I'm opening up this club in the basement of 519 Church Street. Would you like to perform? I'd never done more than 7-8 minutes. I said, sure. He said, I need a feature for the second week. Can you do 30 minutes? I said, sure. And that was it. I was the second feature at Yak Yaks and did about 7 or 8 years of featuring and hosting. It was much better host than a feature. How did Yak Yaks help influence your career? If it hadn't have been for Yak Yaks, I never would have been able to develop the ability to go up on stage and just believe that I could entertain people. Of all the things I do, I say, if you don't say, here's the funniest man in the world, and put me in front of a group of people, I can keep them entertained for 10 minutes. And that's what Yak Yaks did. It gave all us a chance. And the night that I bombed in Collingwood, they were expecting Tony Molesworth, a very interesting, funny juggler, comedian, ventriloquist, and they got Briane Nasimok, Eskimo Joe. So I didn't go over that well. I bombed, and on the way home I realized that I was funny. I didn't have to do stand-up anymore, and something called theater sports came to town, so I jumped into improv and sketch, and I did that for a while, and then I got a mortgage, so I moved to producing and writing television. What do you mean by Eskimo Joe? Where did you grow up? I grew up here, but when I go to the States, especially in the South, they go, Nasimok from Canada? Are you an Eskimo? So I developed all this Inuit shtick. In fact, I did the TV show Evening at the Improv, and I came in wearing a parka, snowshoes, and handing out ice cubes as souvenirs of Canada. And it went pretty well for 7 minutes until I got sort of hissed for doing an Elvis joke. But that's another part of my life that is not finished, but it's a chapter that I'm sort of going back to because I'm doing a one-man show. But it's great because I've been allowed to just do bunches of everything. I can produce, I write, I direct. I don't do lighting anymore, thank goodness. What inspired you to get involved in Smile Theater? When I was a youngin' starting out in the business, I'd heard about Smile. A gentleman named Tom Kneebone and Dinah Christie were taking shows to old folks' homes. And I thought that was kind of cool. While I was on the board of something called Factory Theater, a man who I worked with and I wrote musicals in college with, Jim Betts, had become the artistic director of Smile and asked me if I'd like to join the board. I went to a meeting. I loved the board, but I didn't want to be on 2 boards at the same time. So well before the problems happened at Factory a couple years ago, I decided to move over. And as soon as I went and I saw a show, because we take shows into old folks' homes, into facilities where people can't get out. And when you sit there and you watch the audience as they watch and see and experience, and we have all the shows have music in it, it just made me say, this is where I really want to spend my time. So I spend, I would say, a couple days a week helping to promote and raise money for Smile, and it's a great thing, and we're trying to now expand it. It's mostly in the GTA, and we go up to Ottawa, but we've got some funds, and we're hopefully going to go to Winnipeg and Calgary next year, and then see if people there enjoy the idea. And we don't want to have to go and do our shows there. We want to inspire local companies to pick up on the idea.
Mm-hmm. When you do your shows at retirement homes, what is the audience reaction like, and do you find it's really making a difference in their lives?
You know, it varies because you've got different levels of people who can enjoy it. You've got people who have Alzheimer's. You have people who can't focus that much. When I watch them hear songs, and that's why music is so important, when I watch them get involved with the songs and it tweaks their memory, part of what we do is we stay around and we talk afterwards. And there was one older gentleman who would not leave until we had finished packing up, and it was just talking to us about the show and talking about his life. And so what it does, it hopefully brings them some joy, but it also brings back memories and also takes them out of wherever they've been for 50 minutes. Some of the homes we go to have people who, you know, have children that take them out, but others are shut-ins. They don't get out. And unlike sometimes when they'll have somebody come play an accordion or somebody do, you know, Al Jolson, we do a 55-minute professional musical show. And we do 4 different shows a year, and usually we create 2 or 3 new shows a year.
How did you get involved with Scrabble with the Stars? Friends.
One of the people I write with, when I used to write Sesame Street, Sesame Park, Canada, she took me, Kate Barris took me to one Scrabble with the Stars, and I went, oh, this is good. And the next year I sort of bought a table, and the next year after that, lo and behold, I'm on a committee, and now I'm helping write it, and I'm helping, I've been very lucky to have worked with a lot of great people, so I can phone up certain people and go, hey, you want to do this? And the great thing about performers in our industry is they'll give back. You know, I produce this thing called the Gilda's Club benefit, which is a huge benefit. And over this is our 12th year, we have never paid any entertainment to perform. We're talking Marty Short, Eugene Levy, Paul Schaefer, Anne Murray, Brian Adams. Never had to pay them a cent. We've helped with transportation, you know, bought them an occasional drink. We have great gift bags. But so I find that in this industry, you know, our people will give back. And this helps people at Performing Arts Lodge. And you buy a table, there's 3 regular people and 1 star, and you play a game of Scrabble, you eat, you drink, and you have fun.
What can we expect from your one-man show that you're working on?
Hopefully a lot of laughs. It's called Confessions of an Operatic Mute. It's the story of how when I was 8 years old and went to the O'Keefe Center for the first time, I decided I wanted to be on that stage. I had one small problem. I have no talent. So it took me a little while to get there after being a boy in grade 1 in Miss Hinks' I Love Books and a pirate in the Pirates of Penzance in grade 8. I finally was discovered at the University of Toronto doing something called UC Follies and offered a position as an extra. And I took that, and I appeared 387 times in operas without opening my mouth and called myself Canada's foremost operatic mute. So there'll be opera stories. There'll be a story of me in Crystal Beach falling in love with the waitress. There'll be the story of me almost getting fired for putting up a joke visual in the end of Faust. Instead of a giant cross, we put up a giant Star of David, and you heard, King Farouk, you're fired! So there'll be that, and there'll be also some, it'll be a roller coaster. When I did stand-up, it was like I was always going for the joke. The great thing about doing a one-person show is you go through, I share the pain. I mean, I lost my dad when I was 14, you know, and that was very traumatic because he was the person I loved the most, and he'd gone through a couple of problems. So the silver spoon had been yanked out of my mouth from being a spoiled brat when I was 12. It was like, so I start the show right now, I don't know if I will, with the story of the man who's working on the 40th floor of an office building, the top floor, and he accidentally falls out the window, and as he goes by each floor, the people inside can hear him say, so far so good, so far so good. So that's been my motto.
Good. And where is the best place for us to find out more information on you and all of this great work that you're doing online?
Well, one of these days, Morello Wax will put together my little page. I'm on Facebook. you can find me. There are not a lot of Nasimoks in the phone book. In fact, somebody on Facebook actually decided they wanted to friend me, and I asked why, and they said they thought I was cute. I said, well, it's a good picture. So yeah, I mean, find Nasimok. I'm available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, bowling, banquets.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Congratulations on a tremendous career, and best of luck with your upcoming show, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Katie Ullman reporting for Katie Chats in downtown Toronto.